Okay, welcome. Welcome back. Long time no see. Um, so what I'm gonna do today is just give a pretty decently long life update because since I last posted something or since I last did a video, a lot of things happened. But before I want to go into detail of what exactly happened, I think I should better mention a couple of trigger warnings for suicide attempt, depression, eating disorder, something like that. If you're not comfortable with any of those topics, you might not wanna watch, or you might wanna, I don't know, get somebody sit next to you so you can watch together and you'd have emotional support or something. So yeah, just those brief trigger warnings. So basically, what happened was that I often not doing good mentally for quite a couple of years. It even started before the COVID pandemic, and then it was really bad in, I want to say, early 2020, like, I don't know, like January, February. And as soon as March 2020 happened, um, and the onset of the COVID pandemic, I just felt better for some reason. I don't know why, but I was mostly curious of, what's what will go on in the world. How will the world handle a pandemic or something? Especially since in March 2020, I didn't personally know anybody who had COVID, or who died from it even. Um, and yeah, I was just curious, and I could kind of retreat back to my comfort zone because the city where I study at, or I used to study at, was sort of a hotspot for for the COVID pandemic. So, and I was already on semester holidays at home at my parents' place in a very rural area in southern Germany. And so I just decided to stay with my parents. Since it would kind of be foolish to go back to the place where I study while college, or like my college courses, all of them would be online. So I just stayed at home for until 2021, like until the spring of not the spring, the summer of, or late summer of 2021. And so I had kind of my comfort zone, and I could hide behind the mask and everything. And kind of everything was better. Like, I was doing decently, well, mentally. And and then back in 2021, mid 2021, I kind of started feeling off again as soon as college went, changed from online to in person again. And was really feeling bad. And again, pretty soon, and I started noticing again how socially inept I am. And that's that. So, and I didn't really talk about it with anyone. I didn't really talk about anything. I didn't really talk about anything with my parents in early 2020, because you know what, or well, when I was back at the peak of my, I'm not sure if you want to call it depressive episode, because but it probably was a depressive episode, if not chronic depression. I'm not what's diagnosed. I'm not diagnosed with chronic depression. That will go into my diagnosis later. So yeah, that was that, and then now had suicide, had like suicidal ideations already back in 2020, like in or actually starting. I mean, I had suicidal ideations ever since I was 16, but they were getting worse and worse and worse with time. And then 2020 and early 2021, or the first half of 21, was pretty chill for me, and I was doing decently mentally. I mean, I was never 100% okay for a longer period of longer time period, but I was doing decently. And as soon as I went to go back to college in person, it all started again. I was really self-aware and self-conscious, and I got like panic attacks more frequently. Before I used to have, I occasionally got panic attacks, mostly triggered by social situations. But after that, like after mid 2021, they became more frequently, and I also got back into my old habit of not eating enough, especially when I was living alone, because during the weekdays I was back at the at college, and during the weekend I visited my family basically, and thankfully I did that, because that was the time when I got decent meals, or decently sized meals, because I mean I was able to I was hypothetically able to get stuff or something, and I studied that. The thing was, sometimes I just used not eating enough as a punishment for, I guess, for my social inaptitude, and also for the fact that I had quite a chronic procrastinator in a way at college, which doesn't mean that I don't enjoy college, or that I don't enjoy the subject I'm studying. It's just that I don't know. I just get like, it seems like depression or something on social anxiety, and negative thought spirals often get the worst of me, or get the better of me. Sorry, and yeah, that was that. So I started not those unhealthy eating habits again, where I only eat one meal a day, and the one meal that I would eat on a day would not be sufficient for a sufficient amount of nutrition or calories or whatever. So yeah, the only thing that made up for that caloric deficit was the fact that I went back home on the weekend, and I usually ate normal amounts there. And the fact is that also that I didn't really physically exercise too much while I was at college, so I didn't really, I mean, I did lose weight, but I didn't lose a significant amount of weight, so that you would see, oh, this person, you would look at me and see, oh, this person that probably has an eating disorder or something, or yeah. And also I'm not really diagnosed with an eating disorder, but I'm gonna get into that later. So yeah, so I basically from mid 2021 until September 2022, I suffered alone. Like, I didn't say anything to anyone. I just I don't know. I to a certain point I even believed that I didn't deserve help, if that makes sense. Because other people are worse off. Like, sure, I don't have any friends. I don't have a social circle or something. Like, if I were sick in the city where I lived, where I studied, my parents would have to pick me up at my dorm to get me to a doctor if I was weak. If I was too weak to get there myself. But yeah, so I didn't have a, well, I still don't have a social circle really, but at least I have my parents, and that kind of made me feel guilty because I know that some people don't have any friends and they can't rely on their parents either. So I thought, um, I just was really strict to myself with myself, and and mean to myself even, and I kind of yeah, and I just convinced myself in a way that I didn't deserve help. And I was also, yeah, and then, yeah, like I said, and then things went for the worst, and I just didn't make any progress with studying at college and anything, and so I just and by late September, I had the September 2022, I had a failed suicide attempt, and after that, I was supposed to be admitted to a psychiatric ward. Um, the problem there was that they had a back then they had a fairly recent COVID-19 outbreak again at the station, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. And so I just so the psychologist kind of made an anti-suicide contract with me that you know, that I could go home to live with my parents, um, and like if I promise that I won't harm myself, or if I won't make any suicide attempt again. And so I kind of, yeah, I did sign that contract, or is it a life contract? I don't even know how it's called in English, but yeah, something like that. And then she also offered me antidepressants, but sadly my mom, uh, advised me against getting them, because if you have like a plan for committing suicide, they are gonna, in the first couple of weeks when you're taking them, they are gonna amplify the wish that your suicidal ideations are more, or that, for example, if you feel too, due to your depression, you feel too lethargic or something to go through with your plan, those antidepressants give you the strength, or to give you the ambition, I guess, to go through with it. And my mom was pretty scared about it, and so didn't take anything, or didn't get anything prescribed. But I saw the psychologist of the ward like bi-weekly, I guess, or no, every other week. So so yeah, and yeah, twice a month basically. So every other week, for like 30 minutes. And she also, the psychologist that back then, told me to get in contact with psychosomatic clinics nearby. Oh, by the way, while all of this was going on, I had moved back to my parents because I obviously could not go on studying like that. So I had to take a break from college. So yeah, I'm back with my parents again. But yeah, it's for the better basically, because otherwise, I don't know. I I I I wouldn't have been stable, psychologically stable enough to live on my own basically, and I also don't think I would be able to. I don't think I am currently stable enough to live on my own. Well, so the psychologist of the psychiatric ward, that there advised me to get in contact with various psychosomatic clinics, and um, yeah, like I said before, I was supposed to be admitted to the ward, to the psychiatric ward, in October 2022, sorry. And then yeah, and then it took until December. on the, exactly on December 1st, I was admitted to the to a psychosomatic clinic, pretty much nearby. Um, and honestly, that was one of the better experiences I had in my life. Um, just because well, first of all, let me just start from the beginning. So I was admitted on December 1st, and I stayed there for 10 weeks, which means I got to spend not the Christmas holidays as well as my birthday on, on in the clinic. And overall, it was a really good experience. Because I was able to learn quite a few things. I was able to learn that at least under certain circumstances, I'm able to get in contact with other people and feel decently comfortable around other people. I also told my psychologist at the clinic that was probably just because the reason why I felt more comfortable opening up to the other patients in the clinic was because I knew that each one of them had something going on in like in their head, like something was up with them too, like they had many of them had depression or something like that as well, and other people struggled with panic attacks too, and oh yeah, and I gotta tell you before I like in case I didn't mention it, I before my suicide attempt in in fall of 2022, my panic attacks got more frequently, especially when I was at college, because I just really feel uncomfortable with any sort of social situations. So but yeah, I learned in the clinic that it is possible for me to get in contact with people, at least with under very specific circumstances, and the circumstances are, of course, that I knew that each one of my fellow patients had something going on with their brain or with themselves as well. So they had every one of them had a reason why they were there. And by the way, a psychosomatic clinic, at least in Germany, it's not a psychiatric ward. It's more like basically where you in the psychiatric ward, you're basically meant to stay there inside there for like for however long it takes for you to get mentally stable, I guess. And in a psychosomatic you can basically leave whenever you don't have any sort of therapy going on. Like you can like go outside. You can I don't know, go outside to the city, or even leave the city and go to a different city, go shopping or go sightseeing or whatever. I mean, yeah, and so I made a few interesting contacts with people from my group, because the people from my group were really nice, and they were really welcoming, and I went up to them relatively quickly. And my therapist, my therapist is awesome anyway. I mean, she's like, the best, think pretty much the best therapist I ever had. And I had like 4 therapists so far, not counting her. But she was awesome. And so what the kind of things we had going on at the clinic was, we had of course we had one-on-one therapy, psychotherapy, of course, and like I said, my own therapist was great. Then we had group therapy, and group therapy from my group was shared between my between my one-on-one, my personal therapist, and another therapist, and the other therapist really sucks, to be honest. Like she's a really cold woman that you would not tell anything, like not tell your deepest thoughts or whatever. You basically, she's the kind of person you would not you know pour out your heart towards something. But yeah, my own therapist was great. But only that the therapist, the group therapy sessions with the other therapist was sometimes a little bit of a torture because I we all everyone in the group found. Oh, sorry, shit. Oh god, I touched the microphone. Sorry. Everyone in my group found that the other therapist was really ineffective. And everyone wanted to have one-on-one sessions with my therapist because she's just awesome. Like, she's a really warm-hearted person and really nice. And yeah. So yeah, basically my one-on-one therapist was great, and group therapy was great 50% of the time whenever we had my therapist as group therapist. And then we had like sports therapy, like sometimes we would just play ball games there, or like any kind of yoga or gymnastics or whatever. And sometimes we would go to the gym, like where you could basically work out, like like in normal classical gyms. And also you could also go down into the gym whenever you wanted in your free time, I think. So some of us used to went there quite frequently. I didn't go there that often, but I mean, sometimes I just went there when somebody else went and nobody else wanted to go with them, so I was the one there and just at least did some stuff did some stuff there for like 30 minutes or something. And then we had art therapy as well. Oh, actually, in sports therapy, we sometimes also, took walks outside. And we technically also had Nordic walking, but nobody went there because it was just too early in the morning and everyone skipped it. And until my therapist kind of mentioned it in group therapy that we really should go to the Nordic walking thing. But yeah, I don't know if something changed or if anything really changed, but yeah. And also we had art therapy, and first of all, in the first couple of sessions, like my art therapist was also good. Her the substitute art therapist we had for a couple of weeks was really sucked, honestly, but the other one was really great and really encouraging. And so the first couple of weeks when I had art therapy, I was kind of really hesitant. I didn't know, I didn't really feel confident in doing really great stuff because I don't know, I'm just really a perfectionist or something, and I know I'm not really that talented in art, in drawing or painting, and so I just did really simple things with chalk, with a special kind of chalk, really, I guess, and also watercolors, I think, and I made a collage, I think it's called, where you mix snippets of or little you mix different pictures together in a way or something to create a bigger picture. I hope you know what I mean when I say what a collage is. And then and with time I kind of let loose and got more at ease with myself, and I also tried new things, and resulting in actually something that I'm most proud of. But I can't really show you the original picture because yeah, I'm gonna tell you in a second. So this is one of the pictures I'm most proud of. It's basically it's a Capricorn, one could say that I drew that for myself because I'm a Capricorn or mountain ibex. I think is the correct term. But so yeah, it's I drew it. One could say that I drew it because I painted it because I am Capricorn because I was born on January 10th. But I also found out that my one-on-one therapist, my personal therapist, also was born on January 10th, so she has the same birthday as me, and we actually kind of celebrated our birthdays together a little bit because she brought like those small cupcakes with her that she bought in a store and some fruit juice, I guess. So we kind of celebrated in group therapy, and she got fruit juice because obviously we're not allowed to drink alcohol, and I was like, therapy started at like 8:30 in the morning, and I don't think it's a good idea to start your day drinking, I don't know, champagne or something, or wine so early on. But yeah, and then I really found it a really interesting experience, and I had, and by the way, just to finish that story with the Capricorn here, I gave the picture to my therapist because no, it's I just surprise her as a farewell gift or something, and she was really 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 happy. She almost cried, I think, and she had a really cute reaction. So, and with the other people from my group, we also did some really cool stuff. We went to see alpacas twice. Like we went to different alpaca farms. I think two different alpaca farms. We went to another city that is relatively close by to go shopping there, and also we went to another bigger city that was pretty far away, and to go there and eat sushi. And on the last Monday I was there, we went to have dinner somewhere else, because we just wanted to celebrate and stuff. And then we also, I just gotta tell you, on the topic of food, like the food was at the clinic was decent. It was not really too bad, and you had several options, like you could have a vegetarian meal or a meat-based meal, like a normal meal with meat and stuff like that. And those who were, for example, lactose intolerant also got special meals. But those kind of meals were really disgusting, honestly. So yeah, we did a lot of things together with the crew, and I learned a lot of things, and I got to know a couple cool things. Like those are things that could be labeled as coping skills that are gonna, like, the coping skills are basically skills you can use to for example, to calm down, to maybe even prevent a panic attack. And by the way, my panic attacks have been getting less frequent ever since I went to the clinic, so that's good. Even though I did have a couple of panic attacks while I was at the clinic, and I was able to go to see my therapist after I had the panic attacks, and just to talk about them with her, which was really helpful. Even though, like, my therapist, like, officially we only could have one-on-one sessions, like once a week, 25 minutes. But my therapist sometimes made exceptions under certain circumstances. So yeah, I want to talk about the coding skills I got some them. So told you that they are gonna there to relieve your tension, like inner tensions, anxiety, nervousness, you name it. So this is an acupuncture ring or wristband actually. Like there are smaller ones that fit on your fingers, but I had a couple of the rings, but they slipped off my fingers and I lost them all, which was really 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 annoying. And so yeah, I just yeah, so I got those I actually had to buy that the specific one because they were not offered. The big ones were not offered from the clinic. The smaller ones were offered. So you basically put it on your hand, and um yeah, it's supposed to calm you down because there's pressure on your I mean, I could pull it up all the way to my shoulder if I wanted to, because I have really skinny arms. But yeah. Next is like it's basically an aromatic oil. It's that's you're supposed to sniff or to smell basically, and that's gonna calm you down. Like some people, like of course there's different flavors. There's a lavender, for example, is a really popular scent, and there's also my personal favorite one is bergamot, I think it's called. It's sort of like a lemon, and it's really it helps me calm down quite a bit. But other people like lavender more. But I don't mind. I just have bergamot with me here, and I don't have lavender. So yeah, basically you're supposed to do is put for like a couple of drops of it on like a pad or something, or maybe even part of your clothing or something, and then you just smell it. Or even if you just open the bottle here, you just smell it. And I also got some balls here. Like this is a soft plastic ball. I think it's pretty self-evident because I've seen those balls in other contexts too. So yeah, it's just something so that you can have something that to keep your hands busy. And those were also available at the clinic, so I just didn't have to buy that. The oil there, the scent oil, I had to buy. But they had them at the clinic, that they just didn't give the whole bottle away, obviously. So I had to ask whenever I wanted um some scented oil. So yeah, the ball here, there's a soft ball, and when my anxiety is or nervousness is worse or tension is worse, this is a hard ball. It's really the spikes are really hard, and I wouldn't say they hurt. I don't think they hurt really, but they are. It's quite an unpleasant feeling to keep touching it, or you can squeeze it. It's at least I don't know if you can see it. No, it's probably not. At least like prints on your hand or whatever. And they also offered like really spicy lollipops there as coping skills. I tried them, but they didn't really work that well with me. Mostly because I like spicy food or spicy stuff in general, so I'm quite used to it. I have built up quite a tolerance to that kind of stuff. And also something that I had to buy myself because they don't offer them in the clinic for free, but I got it from some online shop or something. It's basically a stuffed animal, a weight stuffed animal, so it's pretty heavy. This is a leopard. Um, yeah, I call him Bagheera, like the panther from the Jungle Book. And yeah, this is so it's quite a heavy stuffed animal. And it calms you down if you cuddle with it, and yeah, so it does help with that. And I often went to therapy, is like group therapy or one-on-one therapy with this law or that law, depending on how nervous I was. Um, and for the future, what I plan for the future for my mental health basically is in a that I'm going to the a clinic, like an outpatient clinic, where you're supposed to go there. Like you just spend the day there from 8 in the morning to 4 p.m. or something, and then you go home after that. So, but you have different kinds of therapy, and I heard that you had a broader variety of therapy there, which I'm really glad about, and I'm really looking forward to going there. So yeah, that's it. Yeah, and I just wanted to tell to make this video real quick. Real quick, huh? I landed for like 35 minutes as of right now. But I just wanted to give an update, just to, I don't know, also to talk about psychosomatic clinics, I guess, because I don't think they are really an option in the US, really. Like either you get outpatient therapy or something, or normal therapy, or you're admitted to a psychiatric ward or something. But there's nothing in between. And over here in Germany, like you have those psychosomatic clinics. Also, a lot of the patients there had like suffered from pain or something, like chronic pain or something. And of course, a lot of them were all like middle-aged people or older. And yeah, so that's that. But also, our night group was full of young people. In fact, I was the oldest one at 26. And it was a really interesting experience, and I'm really looking forward to going to that clinic. So yeah, that's it. That's that. And I wanted to talk about that to talk about those topics because I think there's still such a huge stigma around mental health, and admitting yourself to a psychiatric ward or any sort of hospital, right, for mental health reasons. That it's kind of funny because if you like, for example, if you break your leg or something, nobody's gonna just tell you to get yourself together and just go to work or to go to college anyway. Or try to diminish your not try to belittle you and tell you that your pain is not, it's not that bad or something. But when you have, for example, if you have any problems with mental health, mental health problems, people are less understanding. They expect you to, get yourself, pull yourself together, and go on with your life anyway, as if nothing happened. And this is just not how it works. And I tried to function for so many years, and I'm actually glad I made those decisions to go to a psychosomatic clinic. I would have even accepted going to the psychiatric ward, but it just wasn't an option for me. Yeah, that was it. And I just wanted to talk about that because I wouldn't say I'm like, I don't think I'm stable enough to live alone right now, and it's it really depends on like my feelings, on my attitude towards life, and positivity, and like really change pretty frequently. It's but I do think there was a general improvement in so far that I learned that under certain circumstances I'm able to have contact with people, like to communicate with people that are not therapists or something. And to share my diagnosis, it's basically called recurrent depression, And I only got the diagnosis of recurrent depression because obviously I had never gotten diagnosed before, and like therapist only knew me for like 10 weeks, and I'm not sure if they can make a full assessment of that. So she said if I'll see another therapist or something for a longer time, they will diagnose me, maybe give me a diagnosis of chronic depression, because recurrent depression is mostly when your depressive episodes or symptoms just raise, just go out when you're like during certain seasons, for example, especially during autumn or winter, you're mostly down or something. But for me, it's not just autumn or winter. It's I don't know. I just feel constantly down, honestly. But yeah, probably get a different diagnosis once I get into like outpatient therapy again. Just like, yeah. And also I was diagnosed with social phobia or social anxiety. Who knew that? I mean, yeah, that was that was pretty obvious to me. So yeah, oh shit, this is the second time I touched the microphone. Sorry for that. So thank you for your attention. I hope you learned something, or I don't know. I just maybe you learned something from it. Maybe it was just entertaining. So yeah, and I'll give you an update on life once I can tell you some other things about what life is like in that outpatient clinic where I stay there, where I'll stay for during the day and to go home in the evening or something. So yeah, if you're interested in that, I'll make a video on that too. So yeah, thank you for your attention, and I'll see you hopefully sooner than later. Goodbye.